Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Well, okay, it's not New Year yet, but close enough. I mean, after 2020, got some folks showing up here. Let's see who we've got showing up so far. We got River City Rails. We got Emmett. Welcome, Emmett. Gordon, nice to see you again. Tony, thanks for coming on board. So myself and hey, look at that, Janik over here. Yeah. So why would we be here? It's not Train Tuesday. It's Monday. It's the Monday after the big holiday. And so that just means there's got to be a pretty good reason for both of us to be here, right?
I would say so. I mean, we would be here every day if we could, but sometimes we do other stuff on our jobs. But no, it's announcement day, right? We got a lot.
It's announcements day, yeah. Want to welcome Paul, Dylan, Mike, Maurice, Josh, Miguel, Angela. A lot of guys. Nicholas is here too. So guys, thanks for coming on board. We've got some stuff. I mean, so you know what I'm going to call this? I'm going to call this the start of a great year. 2020 was a rough year. I mean, no doubt. 2020 was a rough year. For us modelers, I mean, we still got a lot done. We had a lot of good things to be thankful for. But 2021, I'm calling it right now. This is the year that everybody gets a little bit of something. And we're starting that month off like that. We got stuff for HO guys. We got stuff for N-scale guys. We got stuff for classic and older, transition power. We've got stuff that's brand new and modern. We got stuff from the West Coast. We got stuff from the East Coast. We got stuff from the South. We got stuff from up in Canada, Midwest. So, hey, are you guys ready? Is everybody plugged in?
A lot of what we're announcing today has been requested on this show in previous episodes. Right. So it's really cool when we can see something come full circle like that.
Yeah, I think the most fun I have out of this job, Janik, is when not only do we get to, see all the cool stuff, locomotives and freight cars and everything else, but it's really cool when we see, over here to my right, I can see all the comments coming in, and when I see somebody like say, "Hey, how about HO scale such and such?" and then a few months later we come out with it. We know we've made that person's day.
It's so cool.
We know that there's more, right?
Yeah, we're listening to the suggestions. We take them seriously, and a lot of what people have been asking for is what we've been working on. So let's see what's going on this month.
Let's see what we've got going on. I mean, I know you have been super busy back there in the workshop. I told the guys that you went up north a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not sure where you went, but some older gentleman, kind of heavy set with a beard, said he needed you for a week or two, and I figured that's where you went.
I had to go drop off all the other stuff for
Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to start off with something modern. We've got ST70M-2s, this time in Genesis 2.0. How cool is that? Janik, what did you pack into these 70M-2s?
Well, so Genesis 2.0 is Genesis, but more. It's you get more than Genesis. And as you see here, we got the see-through steps on these now, so etched see-through steps on the corners. We got lit marker lights on the Canadian National versions, which we'll show in a little bit. And then we got the lit number boards and the ground lights as well. So just a lot of really cool upgrades to these models. These were always the nicest SD70M-2s you could buy when they came out. Oh God, it was more than 10 years ago now, I think. And now it was just time to bring them up to more of today's standards, and so that's what we did. And
that's great.
I wanted to show a couple screen grabs real quick too.
Yeah, definitely.
Just give me a second here. I want to show you guys because you can't see in the announcement, but I want to show you a little bit about what we did under the hood on these things. So let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. Because Genesis 2.0 It's all these extra lighting features, but it's also upgraded sound features.
Oh wow! I'm gonna make
So
that bigger for.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
here's the revised underframe here. There's a couple things I want to point out to you guys. Hopefully you can see my magnifying glass here. That's my cursor. So what we did, so you see the two cube speakers here, okay? So that's going to give you really great sound out of those speakers. But the other interesting thing here I want to point out is this board right here in the front, and then there's a smaller one here in the back. And so what those are is for the additional light functions, the working marker lights on the CN version, for example, the working ground lights, the working not class lights, I should say, number boards. So, you know, completely lacking wires between the shell and the body here. You can just take the shell right off, and this is what it's going to look like, because these are all contacts for those lights. So just a really cool design, really streamlined, but you know, also giving you more lighting features than it's ever had before. And the other thing I wanted to show you guys, just a cool little tidbit here. And this is actually a additional rooftop antenna that we made for the Canadian National versions. And you'll see on like the Grand Trunk Western Heritage Unit and those modern CN M-2s, they have two of these antennas up on the roof on either side of the dome. And so we're going to have those new parts so we can make those versions too.
That's pretty cool. So new detail part that has not been offered on these in the past.
Yeah, that's right. This is brand new.
Wow.
So there's a big shot of the underframe for you guys to look at there. Just a really slick design. This is obviously the sound version. The non-sound version is going to have a speaker enclosure for you to add your own speakers, and it's going to have a 21-pin compatible motherboard, of course.
Okay.
So that's really what I wanted to show about that.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that you know, never being satisfied with what you have, but keep on going. That's what we're all about. So, you know, we've got these. I definitely remember seeing the SD 70M-2s in Norfolk Southern, not too far from me here. And yeah, that's true. They don't use them anymore. This is 2005 plus, but there's people out there that model that era. So we have to cover. We got to cover stuff for everybody. We can't just do the here and now or the way back. You also got the Florida East Coast, and that's a cool paint scheme. I remember this paint scheme from a little over 10 years ago now.
The Rail America scheme. It seemed like that came and went really quick, but it was
it did. Very cool. Let's see if I can. Now this one's kind of near and dear to my heart. The Vermont Railway, and for those that want to model the whole SD 70M-2 roster of the Vermont Railway, here you go.
Here's 100%.
Really cool paint scheme, and you know, considering the area, this is big power. This is big power out there. I mean, in a land where, you know, GP60s were big at one time, and you know, even further back into the 40s and the 38-2s. And I remember when Vermont Railway got these, and they were still running around in their previous owner's paint, and thinking, man, these things just look like monsters. I'm used to seeing these in Illinois, not Vermont. And really cool how you picked that one out.
Yeah, it just looks kind of funny to see one of these things going by with like a GP40-2. It's a big size mismatch, like you said, but really attractive paint scheme. And
very, very nice. And to my fellow friends in the New England Northeast area, to prove that, yes, I've been in Illinois for 22 years, but I still know how to talk properly, the Providence and Worcester.
Yes.
Check that out. That's a cool scheme. I always like that scheme.
Yeah. It's a shame it didn't last longer like that either. because as a lot of people pointed out, that they're painted orange and black now. Which
Yeah,
another version that we can do in the future. So
definitely. And again, just the whole roster right there. So to our friends north of us, we haven't forgotten you. We've got some interesting stuff here. Now, this one has generated quite a bit of buzz since we started showing the announcements on our website this morning. You've got not just your standard Canadian National. You've got this this one that's really interesting, and I'll let you tell the story behind it, Janik. But the one that kind of looks like some kind of McGinnis paint scheme, and then finally the Grand Trunk one, which I know you and I are both really excited about.
it's so funny. I've gotten so much more feedback on the 8934 than I've gotten on the Grand Trunk Western unit. But
a lot of people scratching their head on that one, isn't there?
yeah, they're like, man, they really messed up. Well, it's funny. So those doors there on that compartment, they're all the same size. And so what the shop had done with this unit is they put the doors back on, and hey, oh, this door fits, and the doors are out of order. But as far as the shop was concerned, yeah, the engine's ready for service. Everything is as it should be. And someone showed me a picture of this same engine with a different mismatched door section on it. So there's multiple versions of this mismatch here, and just a really interesting thing that you don't see every day. Just an eye catcher going by in your consist. If you want to do that one, you can get some funny looks.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, a lot of us forget that those battery doors and those different hatches, I mean, they're all from the same style locomotive. So they'll take those off in the shop, and they put them back on again. They don't really think about the aesthetics. They're thinking more of the workability of it. So
Right.
to them, hey, it's a motor that's not generating revenue right now. Get it out on the rails. It's kind of like my Jeep. You can take the doors off my Jeep, and you can go over to my buddy's Jeep. His may be blue, and mine's silver, and I can put the blue doors on my silver Jeep, and it works just fine. Aesthetically, it looks kind of funny, but kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it accomplishes the goal. So.
And we've got the first of the heritage units here too. I mean, the Grand Trunk. Now, I've always loved this paint scheme, and of course, growing up in New England, I would see this occasionally because the Central Vermont shared a paint scheme like this. But this is like the first one that we started having rail fans send us pictures of, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, when this one first came out, there was a whole bunch of speculation about what they were doing, and I'm still hearing there's more units that are going to be painted, and I hope that does happen.
Oh yeah, and this one, I mean, we can thank you guys out there, because we got pictures, and again, if you see something that you want us to produce, information is key. There's a nice picture of the prototype there. Looks like it's freshly out of the paint shop. That was taken by Greg McRae.
Yeah, and I want to point out the working marker lights on these things, front and rear.
Yeah.
We've had those detail parts before, but the lights were not operational. Now we have enough lighting features, and we designed PCB light boards for the front and rear. So you're going to have control of those marker lights for when you run in a DPU. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Now, guys, I wanted to let you know too, while Janik and I are talking, since we've got a ton of stuff to get through today. So it's pretty much, we're just going to do an overview. We're not going to go into detail on anything. We'll be watching the comments. If there's a question that sticks out, I'll try to point it out. Same with Janik. If we see something that we can, answer right away, we will. But for the most part, we're going to kind of go through these, and then in the coming weeks, like we always do, we're going to go into detail on all of these. So
yeah,
and let's get on to the next item.
All the suggestions out there too, great suggestions. We won't have time to address them today. We got that email set up for those though, right, Jim?
We do, yeah. We've got that email out on our website. It's Athearn Product Suggestion at athearn.com. And that's really a way for us to kind of measure what kind of interest we have.
Yes, helps us
Because
a lot better than trying to track them down on all these different videos.
yeah, exactly,
Comments.
exactly. So here's something. Now we're going to go back in time.
No,
This was a really interesting era in our railroad history. Yeah, the FP45 locomotives. We've offered these before. It's been a little bit. It's been a minute or two.
yes.
These are, of course, we've upgraded these with the LED lights, the rubber MU hoses. And look at what we got here. We got some roads that don't really need much introduction.
No, they really don't. I mean, you want to talk about FP45s? Well, this is it. if you want to be particular about it, these were the two original owners of that locomotive, and these are the original as delivered paint schemes and detail versions. And these were the premier passenger power for these roads at the time. This was the best they had, the most powerful, the most tractive effort. And always liked the Milwaukees with no dynamic brakes. That was just unique looking to me.
Yeah, that is very unique, and a nice classy paint scheme. Now, one that I know you like, and I know one that we get a lot of requests for, is right here. Hey, look, my computer's froze. There we go.
I should have their shirt today.
That's really cool.
Oh yeah. Yes. You know what? This is the first time ever for the Kodachrome FP45s. People have been asking for those for a while now. So finally, here they are. And these, of course, have been rebuilt by the railroad at this time. So they've lost their steam generators, and they've got all the rooftop details that you would see in the 1980s. So just really neat units, really classy.
Yeah, really cool. And again, I mean, that Kodachrome just looks so cool. And Thomas, I see you out there. I know you're asking for that Jeep 9 in Kodachrome. I'm right there with you, brother. Jeep 9's one of my favorite locomotives, and that cool Kodachrome. Let's see what 2021 brings us. I think it's going to be a good year, though.
I think so, too. Yeah.
So moving on, we've got the Shouldn't Paint So Fast. Now, here's something really cool. And we'll talk more about it in the next coming weeks, but you've got the Southern Pacific Santa Fe, and you also have the Burlington Northern Santa Fe and the Heritage 2 paint scheme. But look up here closely. This is part of our legendary liveries. This is, you can't call this a fantasy scheme per se. This could have happened, right, Janik?
It was really close to actually happening. If you look at BNSF, they ran these into the late 90s, and they didn't end up repainting or saving any of those locomotives. But had things transpired slightly differently, it's entirely possible they could have saved a couple of them and used them as like OCS or business train power. And that's kind of what we were thinking with these. A very plausible what if scheme here.
Well, I remember, the Burlington Northern Santa Fe when they were using FP45s, and there was a lot of debate in the modeling circles that they were going to paint those in some form of heritage paint, because at the time they were so power starved. And to the naysayers that say, no, they never would have done that, all I need you to do is do a Google search of Jeep 9 1685 to prove our point. It was a high-nose GP9 with torpedo tubes, no less, and they painted it in Heritage 1. So BNSF was painting some stuff like this, and this one really came close to actually happening. And so when we say a what if, we're not too far off from a what if, maybe by a couple of days or so before that's actually happened. And there's another one here too.
Yeah, the Western Pacific one is a little bit more of a sidetrack for us. But we said to ourselves, hey, if things had happened a little bit differently, WP was looking for CZ power. trying to get rid of their FP7s, which were, they were definitely past their prime.
Sure.
By the late 60s. And this could have happened. It definitely could have happened.
Stranger things have happened in the railroad industry, but yeah, again, the logical progression of replacing their FP7s with what would have been at the time a logical progression of motive power, and that scheme is worn well by that locomotive. Really nice. So for those that want to explore a timeline that could have been, there you go.
Yeah, so we got prototypical schemes and we got what if schemes with this group. So try not to focus too much on one or the other. There's people that like that stuff, and there's people that it's not for them, and that's why we offer something for everyone.
Yeah, we try to that latest round of ES44s is a good example. We did some legendary liveries on those, and we did some actual ones, including some Prime for Grime. Now check this out.
Oh yeah, the BN.
Yeah, this is this gets me every time. That Cascade Green, and look down below that, we've got Wisconsin Central. How cool is that?
Wisconsin Central is a really classy scheme. It's too bad they got bought out so quickly.
Yeah.
But for a while, they were 45, heaven with these, and then the SD45s. Just really cool stuff. Those BN units are kind of cool. They're actually a Great Northern order that came in so late that they were delivered after the merger, and so that's why they were painted green and black.
Wouldn't it have been cool though to see those in that big sky blue? I've always loved that big sky blue color.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
really
definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, once again, they were built to GN specs, but by the time they got to their customer, it was painted Cascade Green in the new corporate colors. So really cool. And Wisconsin Central, like you said, very classy. I had the opportunity to rail fan them quite a bit back in the early 90s, and man, great railroad to rail fan, and the crews were always super nice. Let's see what else we've got.
I think that's it for the 40.
That's it for those, yeah. But again, Genesis equipped. They're going to have the LED lights. They're going to have all of those functions that you're looking for in the Genesis, and of course, the DCC ready models come with the 21-pin NEM connector.
Yeah.
Beautiful locomotives, and yeah, I mean, just really cool.
We'll get to them soon too, but we're doing all those same paint schemes in N scale. So
yeah, so N scale guys, don't go away. We got stuff for you. Now check this out. The Santa Fe guys rejoice.
Oh, look at this. That black
is
classy. I just like that a lot.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, I mean, that's almost the quintessential caboose. It's red. It's got that great logo. We've got two different eras that we're showing here.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, this is a Genesis model. It's going to have a lot of the same features that we've had in the past with our Genesis line of cabooses. But wow, I mean, really cool. But we're not just going to do Santa Fe, right?
Not just Santa Fe Red. We got some other versions too.
Now I didn't know about this one. This has got to be, and from what you were telling me earlier, this is kind of not a lot of photographic evidence of this, is there?
Only a few photos of this thing. Doubtful that it ever ran on a revenue train more than a few times if it did. But just a really interesting car with an interesting history. Really like what they did with the Kodachrome paint with the yellow ends on that one.
Yeah, no, that's a nice classy scheme. Definitely something that you're going to want to do. And then if that had just continued with that theme, you've got the SPSF as well.
Well, and actually, this is not a legendary liveries. This actually looked like that for a short time.
Oh, okay.
complete
So
letter.
again, you really had to dig deep for these pictures.
Yeah, so of course you can buy that and park it in the yard if you want to, just like the real railroad did, or you can run your choice.
Oh yeah, that's neat. Now, as we go down a little bit, we see some Santa Fe ownership to a railroad that's not too far from me, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
TP&W.
Good old TT&W.
Yeah. Well, now in the 80s, of course, they were owned by the Santa Fe.
That's right.
So you've got this one lettered for the TP&W, the Toledo, Peoria, and Western. Kind of a neat road. They had some neat stuff back in the day. They still have some interesting power, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we offered those GP38s in TP&W fairly recently. This would be a real nice car to go with those. So.
Yeah, that'd be good. And I don't remember the last time we did a TP&W caboose, if we did at all, did we?
We may have done a bay window orange and white at some point, but don't quote me on that. So
yeah,
this is actually accurate. So that's being the big difference.
Kind of cool where we got the image here, the original International Caboose extra wide vision picture that was provided to us by Thomas Austin.
Yeah, I think I saw him commenting on here. So shout out to Tom Austin for that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that in. That looks really nice. So now we got some ready to roll stuff. We got these 26-foot ore cars with load. We got a pretty good range of cars here.
Yeah, definitely. And the ones I keep hearing people asking for are the SP pie side cars. Those were the Kaiser Steel ore cars that they ran in solid sets of 80 something odd cars. And so if you're going to buy those, you're going to need a lot of them. And a lot of people haven't been able to get enough road numbers from past releases. So there you go.
And Eric out there, I saw you a question about the cabooses. Probably next Tuesday we'll be talking about those cabooses in detail. They're a Genesis caboose, so yeah, they do have a slightly higher price than your standard ready to run or roundhouse caboose. There's a lot of features that they have that a standard caboose doesn't have. So stay tuned in the upcoming Train Tuesdays. We will be talking about those more in depth.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's not cheap. We're not going to try and say that it is.
No,
we'll go over it and tell you guys why it costs that much, what the features it comes with.
Of course, we've got a nice release of some ready to roll 50-foot Superior plug door box cars, and these are in some great lines that fit predominantly in the 60s up until early 80s. A nice range of cars you got here.
Yeah, especially those yellow FGE cars. Those were always running solid sets. It seemed like, or just big blocks, and so you can mix up all the different roads together.
Very
like
cool.
The national car too, with the Canadians spelled differently on each side because they gotta.
Yeah, they have to do that for that. That really definitely puts it in the era, because in the 60s they weren't doing that, but by the 70s and 80s it was becoming a lot more common.
Yeah, gotta have the French spelling and the English spelling, definitely.
And let's see. Well, check this out. We got some Ford Canopy cab pumper fire trucks. These are, we haven't run these in a while. I remember these, but it's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while for these roads, or not roads, but I should say cities. Not everyone's modeling Chicago or Los Angeles, but there's a good variety here, and these could easily be used for anyone's city if you just do a little decal job on it.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much. I mean, I'm trying to look at the Los Angeles truck, and I'm trying to see if it's Squad 51. I'm dating myself. Anybody else? There's my shout out for the day. If anybody knows what I'm talking about for Squad 51, put it in the comments. I'll give you a shout out.
Yeah, that went right over my head. Sorry.
Yeah, Jim's showing how old he is. That's those are cool. These are really nicely done. Of course, they're licensed by Ford, and really, really nice. And like you said, I mean, these paint schemes, especially a lot of these bicentennial-looking paint schemes, they don't have to be just for that area. A little bit of work, and you can do those for any town. And then speaking of any town, check these out.
Yeah,
We've
this is a really interesting truck, and I didn't know too much about them at first, but I started looking them up, and these Bell telephone trucks were actually custom. The bodies were custom built specifically for telephone service, and the trucks were always painted the same shade of green, so consistency. Whenever you saw one of these, you knew it was a Bell truck, but they're of course also regional, and even up into Canada, you could find these things in 30s, 40s, and 50s. So a really nice period truck here.
Yeah, very nice. And I went through the comments real quick. I got a pretty good response. So I'm not the only person over 40 in here. It looks like Eric was the first one to post. The name of the show I was referring to was called Emergency, another show by Jack Webb. What a great show. That was kind of like the precursor to a lot of the drama rescue type shows that are popular now. But yeah, you're right. These are pretty much a standard Model T pickup truck that they would put a specialized box bed on for working on what was I wouldn't say it was brand new technology, but it was newer technology than what is now. Wouldn't be too different than your cable truck or your fiber optics truck or something of that nature nowadays. But these, especially in the rural areas, I imagine these. Not Model T, sorry, Model A. I imagine in the rural areas, especially like New England Telephone and Bell of Pennsylvania, they probably hung out for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. And it's a nice little variety of locations there. And then you got the generic one as well.
Really, really cool. And I mean, again, I don't remember when the last time we ran the Model A's were. It seems like it's been a bit.
We've got a few different Model A's. This one doesn't get run too much. It's been at least 10 years on this one. So if you're looking for these, this will be a great chance to get them.
Yeah, they usually go fast. Now we've got some 40-foot high cube containers, and there's a really cool container in this list. We've got the Ocean Network Express. That is always asked for by our fans out there.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about this one on the bottom. This is one I've never seen before.
Yeah, it's funny how that came about. One of our artists is a longshoreman, not full-time, but he works down there at the ports from time to time driving trucks around. And one of his buddies saw this thing and just snapped a nice picture of it and said, hey, just something you might be interested in. And we're like, yeah, we are interested in it.
That's pretty cool.
I had no idea this thing even existed. So a pretty cool 3-pack for the Maersk there. You get 3 different paint schemes, including the Pride container is what they call that one. So that's really neat.
Yeah, I've never seen that one, but man, on your stack train or even in your yard, that is really going to show up nice.
Yeah, and a lot of people too asking for MSC in the yellow. So we went ahead and did that for you guys, but also the brown and black, which is a newer scheme, and we thought that would be well received as well.
So we're still got some great HO scale offerings. These are perfect for anybody doing the 50s into the 60s in their HO scale layout. The one that stands out to me, actually there's a few here. You've got a good range of stuff. Bangor and Rustic, that's a famous paint scheme, and of course the multi-mark CP rail, that's another famous one.
Mm-hmm. And the Rio Grande and the silver and orange, that's classy, hard to miss.
Yes, very much so. You're serving the South with the Southern version there. We've got the Pennsylvania with its iconic logo. And of course, we've even got D&H. We've got the Delaware and Hudson. And we're covering pretty much the 50s and 60s with this release.
Yeah, definitely. 50s, 60s, into the 70s for some of these is where you would see these cars. And, being roundhouse, they're not the nicest cars you can buy, but they look good filling up a freight consist. And
yeah, once we get past the things that have made us shelter in place for so long, once we get back to shows and things of that nature, these will be perfect for taking your trains on the road for shows. Many of you guys out there probably belong to a modular HO scale club, and once you guys start doing shows again, these will be perfect for that because they can build up a train real quick.
Well, and you'd be surprised at how quick a Genesis car can lose all of its stirrup steps. Transporting it around so much. So
that's a good point. So now we're on to the N scale. So all the N scale guys get to the front of the room here. Now, we've done these in N scale a few years ago, and they were a really good success for us. We did the Santa Fe, but this time we're doing the Santa Fe in different road numbers. What about the Milwaukee Road? Did we do Milwaukee last time in N scale?
If we did, we did the orange and black last time. So this first time in a while for the passenger scheme for Milwaukee and the Santa Fe for that matter. And these come with Tsunami 2 sound as an option, so you really get a full featured sound set in a really small package, literally, with these things.
And you talk about the small package. One thing to note is they are available with sound and without sound.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That is really cool. I mean, there was a time, in N scale, we were just happy if we had the right couplers on. And now we're getting beautiful locomotives like this with sound, pretty much mimicking the HO scale release. We've also got the Kodachrome, which I have no business buying an N scale Kodachrome, but I'm going to do it anyways because it's my railroad.
You really can't.
Let's see. We'll move down a little bit, and we've got the ones that we talked about earlier, the ones that were so close to happening.
Yeah.
And again, I'll probably have to bite the bullet and get the Burlington Northern Santa Fe too. I mean it actually looks really nice on that car body.
It does. It really does. And I don't know if anyone makes N scale CZ cars, but can you imagine a full CZ set with Fp45s on the point? That would look sick.
It would. It really would. Yeah. I mean, and the funny thing is like you were saying earlier, BNSF retired their FP45s in 2002, which 2002 is about when the Heritage 2 paint scheme was really starting to take off. That was kind of their standard paint scheme for all the wide cab locomotives, where Heritage 1 was for Spartan cabs. And this definitely makes sense. This would have fit that prototype, if you will. Of course, you've got the Western Pacific, like you were saying.
Yeah, Nicholas, in the comments, he says that Kato makes it in N scale for the CZ cars. So yeah, you guys are good to go there. Show us your N scale CZ sets with your FP45s when those come out.
Yeah, exactly. I know there's some great layouts out there because this past month we had some really good pictures sent in. So
yeah, that was cool to see.
And once again, I have no business buying, especially since if I run on the N scale layout, I'm running CB and Q. But I can justify it. I can fool around with my errors a little bit and put an F45 with sound and Cascade Green on the layout.
Not that much of a stretch, really.
Not really, no. No, really, really nice. And of course, the Wisconsin Central again.
You definitely see CB and Q units running with those green ones. So.
Sure, yeah, it could happen. We've seen pictures of things like that all the time. So. Yeah, and I mean, I know there's some guys that are passionate Wisconsin Central fans. This is a perfect locomotive for you too, especially with, what what you're running.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, not a whole lot of WC stuff out there in N scale. It's good to see it when it does happen.
Yep. And William, no, it's true. It's not what you say. Janik and I are modelers, so we're going to talk like modelers, and hopefully, spark some interest in what you guys are doing too. We also want to hear what you guys are doing. Let us know what you're looking for, and this is what we do with announcements. We talk about this stuff. We get excited about it.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're just giving you guys an overview. We'll have different topics on different shows, and this is just to give you guys the announcements.
So going back, we're also offering that Ford C pumper and N scale as well. Same color schemes, but again, you can change those names or numbers to fit your layout. But this kind of gives you a good palette to go by.
Yeah, same paint schemes, only smaller.
Yeah, only small. Yeah, I mean, hopefully your eyes are better than some of us. Really nicely detailed. I've got some of these in N scale, and they really look nice on your layout. They really do.
I don't know how they paint those details so small, but they do a great job on these.
Really, really nicely done. So, and then not to be outdone, we thought about N scale this month. We hear you guys. You guys want more N scale. Here we go. N scale 40-foot high cube containers. Mm-hmm. Just like what we talked about earlier, same roads, the one containers, the MSCs, and both the current and the older paint scheme, and then that really cool Maersk. What are they calling it? Does it even have a name? Is it the Rainbow, or what are they calling it?
The Pride container is what they call it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to look that nice, but right now it looks amazing.
It really does. Yeah, those colors stand out more than anything else in a train that you can put there.
Now, as far as that container is concerned, is that a one-off, or are they doing that with select containers, or do you know?
Yeah, to my knowledge, there's one 40-footer. There's also one 20-footer out there. As far as I know, those are the only two. So.
Interesting. Great. We've got some great stuff this month. I'm pretty excited about it. Well, we're still not done with N scale. Sorry.
There's more. But wait.
Wait, there's more. Yeah, it sounds like one of those info commercials. Wait, there's more. So we have the N scale 50-foot PS1s available in the same schemes that we talked about earlier. And again, this is perfect for 1950s into maybe early 1970s, mm-hmm. At least as they're decorated, anyways. And
right.
We've got something pretty much all over the country. We've got all parts of the country and Canada taken care of here.
Yeah, it's a shotgun pattern of locations with these road names here, and that's what we try to do when we pick these road names. We don't want to focus too much on any one particular area.
Right.
Of course, if we're making SD60Es or GP40P-2s, okay, yeah, we're probably going to have to focus on the one railroad that owned those, but
yeah,
not so much for these.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, these wandered all over the place too. I mean, they weren't just stuck in their one little territory, but you would see them wander around the country. But great stuff for your home layout in N scale, or if you're part of N track or T track or Fremo N. These are great cars. They hold up really well as far as the detail department. And again, we've said it before, but it bears repeating. Body mount couplers, metal wheel sets that are good on all types of commercially available track. So once again, hey, check this out. This is the year, isn't it?
Hey, look at that, man.
75 years. There's not a lot of railroad companies, at least model-wise, that can say that, I don't think. There's a few, but not many.
No, and it's, it just goes to show that a name like ours is really associated with a lot of people getting started in the hobby. They got started with the Athearn stuff. And that heritage means a lot to us going forward, too. We don't want to just, totally change people's fond memories about us. if we can help it. We want to keep making.
Well, you know, and the cool thing about that 75 years is, you know, who we can thank is you guys out there watching this. Thank you for you know, supporting us all these years and making it a fun job and making it fun for us to talk with you. We still, both Janik and I have talked about this. We miss talking to a lot of you guys at the shows. This is the next best thing. Still not the same, but
Yeah.
you know, we've got some time. What do you think, Janik? You want to take a few questions and see what everybody's thinking about?
Yeah, sure. We got a few minutes, I think.
Let's see what we've got.
Like we said, we'll do all this stuff in more detail in some later shows. So, you know, this is just kind of a quick rundown of what we got going on.
Yeah, and then, like I said earlier, this is such a big month that we'll go into detail for each one later. Here's a suggestion, and I think we've talked about this before. Eric says, "How about road railers?"
Road railers. Oh man, I like road railers a lot. Especially
that would be cool.
That would be a cool idea. You got 48 footers, you got 53 footers, different paint schemes.
Let's see. We've got another product suggestion here. We're going to take, where'd he go? There he is. Steven, he says, how about Genesis SD9s, high and low nose? That's a great suggestion.
No, you got to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
We're not going to do both. Just
yeah, you can't have both. You're only going to have one.
No, that's probably our like number 3 request out of everything we get. It's SD7s, SD9s, SD18s, SD 24s. They're all on the same frame. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense to talk about them all at the same time.
Yeah, that's one of those workhorses that definitely a lot of railroads use. So that's a possibility.
There's one from Michael Byers I sort of wanted to address. He wants the hub group cost containers.
Oh, okay.
That's probably not going to happen, and it's because licensing. All the different cause containers have, like there's the breast cancer awareness one. I think there's an American Heart Association one. I think there's pet company ones, and all that stuff takes licensing agreements with those companies to produce that stuff. Just makes it really challenging for us. We could try and contact these companies, and a lot of the time we don't even hear back, or we get some ridiculous proposal where they want to take 20% of everything, and it's just like, yeah, it's not worth it really. So as cool as that would be, there's some hurdles. I think that's the takeaway.
You know what Thomas wants, Janik?
Well, if you're watching the comments, there's quite a few things, but
yeah, but this is a strong. I think this is his number one requested item, and I'm going to tell you, Thomas, man, I got no qualms about that. I'm sure Janik doesn't either. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wish Thomas knew what I knew about Chrome heat, because if he knew what I knew, he would be very happy to know that about what's coming in 2021. So.
Yep, exactly. And Zach, he says weekly. This is his weekly request. Let me put Zach up there. Weekly Missouri Pacific ICC caboose request, please and thanks. And if you look carefully, you'll notice that he's got the. It looks like he derailed his minivan. Yeah, I don't know if that's the Caravan version or if that's the Odyssey version, but that ST10 there is looking pretty bad.
Well, Zach, a lot of people have talked to me about some Mopac cabooses, and actually the KOG or the KOG, I put the ampersand in the wrong place, but those cars are really similar to the SAL cars that we have, and so I kind of like to do those. I've been looking into it.
Mr. Dawson Little has got a question, and it's about product. Will Athearn ever do the Norfolk and Western ST45s and HO again? Yeah, that's been a bit.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done the ST45.
I have to look into.
Yeah.
Let's see. Getting a lot of good requests on things like GP20s. That is something that we do get requests on. GP18s, GP20s.
Logos, definitely.
Yeah.
We get requests for those.
Exactly.
Chris Ward, he wants to see Prime for Grind with graffiti already on it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, we've got that idea before. I'm a little bit against it. It's not because I'm a hater about graffiti, or everyone's got their opinions about graffiti. Love it or hate it, it's there in these days. I'm afraid that if we'd started doing it on our cars, it'd be the same on every car, because we can't make it different on every car. That's just not feasible. So then you'd have people with the same car with the same exact graffiti on it, and that might look a little weird if you got two of them on the same layout. So for that reason, probably not.
Let's see. There was one that I wanted to get. We've had quite a few requests lately for like switchers, and I've lost the comment now, but somebody was asking for a center cab switcher, and that would be interesting. That would be a project, though. That'd be a long-term project.
That would be, definitely.
Let's see. Let's look at, I just saw one here from Jeff. Jeff says, this is one I used to bother Chris with. More GP39-2s in the Willamette and Pacific or Portland and Western paint scheme. What do you think, Janet?
There was that one run in 2015, Portland and Western. I think we need to do more of them. Do some of the Patch Santa Fe units as well would be cool.
Yeah, they seem to, if memory serves me correctly, they seem to do pretty well.
Yeah, and they're really hard to find now too. Good luck finding those. So maybe it's time for another run.
Oh, here we go. It was Remy was asking. He's like, hey, center cab 70-ton switcher locomotive. That is something that, is it possible to do? Yeah, it's possible to do, but it'd probably be a project with everything that we got lined up for this coming year. It'd probably be further down the road. Nothing right away. But
yeah,
good suggestion.
I think so too.
Let's see. Guys have got a lot of good comments today, so I'm trying to read some that we can throw up there quick. Here's an interesting one, and Janik, you're the person that could answer this probably. Steve Wood, he said, since the 20th anniversary of the release of Microsoft Train Simulator is in May, how about a special Genesis run of the BNSF 4723-9 in the BNSF 2081 GP38-2? That might be a licensing thing, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's Microsoft. Would be something to look into.
It would be.
I'm not opposed to it. I think those would be good units to do.
It would be kind of cool, especially with the anniversary.
Definitely.
Let's see. I'm trying to narrow it down, because for you guys that are out there posting, you don't see what I see, and there's a lot of good suggestions.
Terry LaFrance here wants a Katy torpedo tube deep. And, I'm going to ask him what color does he want it in, because I'm pretty sure it could be red or green and yellow. So let us know.
Nicholas, this is a great suggestion. MP15AC Bandit, the old ex-Milwaukee and HO, would be the loco I would get for my small shelf switching layout. Yeah, that's a great idea, and it's a cool setup. The Bandit scheme that they had briefly.
We did those once a while ago, and they are neat. Find them, yeah. Well, it's an interesting idea there. We could do the train simulator engines and just leave the logo off, and we could just do that road number, and people could add it themselves. There's an interesting idea.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely getting a lot of votes for the MP15s and a lot of switchers. A lot of people are asking for switchers. So we see your comments. Noted.
Cool. Yeah. Switchers. They need to make a triumphant return. I think. I think it's going to happen soon.
Yeah. Let's see. Got some more comments coming in. Oh, here's a general question. This is coming in from Thomas, saying, James and Janet, do you ever showcase your own layouts modeling online? Janet, I'll let you answer first, and I'll follow up.
Occasionally, I'll post to some groups. I don't have a layout of my own, but I do belong to a few train clubs, and I'll post photos occasionally if I'm running something. And I'm actually doing a lot of photo freelancing for the California Southern, which is the home road of my club layout. And so we got a decal set made up for those engines, and I'm working on some engines for that, but nothing too crazy lately.
Yeah, ironically, since working for Athearn, it had nothing to do with working from Athearn, but the pandemic kind of close that down. But I have had for a number of years an N-scale layout depicting Galesburg, Illinois in 1967 called the City Job, which was a joint Santa Fe and CB&Q layout. Pretty much done to scale because you can do that in N-scale, and it was not a very big set of tracks. And I took that all over the Midwest and New England for a number of years. It's semi-retired because I've gotten some more information, and eventually I'd like to do it up a little bit differently. And then, of course, one that I'm working on that you guys can't see, it's behind the camera here, of a New England N-scale layout that will hopefully be going. There's rumors that the Ohio N-scale show will be coming back this year in Columbus, Ohio, and hopefully, if that's true, I'd like to bring the Boston and Maine layout to that show. So yeah, we do stuff, as time allows. Right now, I think the pandemic's kind of really kept us indoors and just working on our own projects. But good question. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. We've got time for maybe two more questions, and then we're going to wrap it up because guess what, guys? You're going to see Train Tuesday. So, Ricky, I see your question there. I've actually seen the Fremo that they've done in McLean, Illinois. Absolutely amazing. And my predecessor, Chris, used to see that too. So, yeah, I'll probably see you guys again in the spring. All right. How about...
I keep seeing the request for the California cars, HON N-scale.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
I see that. I am aware of it.
Yeah, definitely see that, and we are aware of it. We got time for one more, and I'm trying to find the best out of the bay here. Okay, so we're gonna go with a Midwest comment.
All right.
Oh, how about a Genesis Chicago Northwestern bay window caboose, please? It's a good suggestion.
That is a good suggestion. Yeah.
Something that we can definitely think about. So.
Yeah, were those ICC cars, or were they some other home built or other manufacturer? I'm not an authority on CNW, so we'll have to let our CNW guys give us some information and let us know, because that's the one downside to this is there's so many railroads, so much information. It's hard to take it all in sometimes. There's always somebody out there that knows more than you about a particular subject.
That is so true. Just when you think you know it all, go to your local historical society and find out how much you don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That person worked for the railroad. They really have a different take on things. Well, we had some really great comments. I want to thank everybody for coming this afternoon and looking through the new stuff for January. Today's kind of an important day because it is the last day of all that cool stuff that we showed you in December. Today's the last day to make your final selection. So if you have not done so yet, if you've been on the fence, talk to your dealer today before the end of the day and order what you need, which reminds me, Janik, I've got to order those Boston, Maine Jeeps. Otherwise, I'm not going to have them for next year. And,
Well, I did those just for you. So
I know, yeah. I guess I'm the only one buying those 3 locomotives, but that's okay.
we're expecting you to fix and renumber 3 of them. So
Yeah, and of course, mine will be a lot dirtier than what they look like when I first get them because I didn't really see the wash rack much.
that's true. Yeah, bankrupt railroad doesn't care too much about cleanliness.
Nope, they just wanted to get the job done. And if you saw some of the track that those things had to go through, you'd see why. So reminder, guys, tomorrow, Train Tuesday, we'll be back 3:30 Central Time. Janik is absolutely slammed with all the stuff, and today you can see why he's been so busy. 2021 has got a lot more, like you saw today, that he's going to be working on. So Janik won't be in tomorrow, but we'll go over some of the Genesis stuff tomorrow, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also talk about what's in stock, things you might have forgotten about. I know some Conrail guys are going to be happy when I talk to them tomorrow because we've got some Conrail stuff that's just coming to stock. But that will be tomorrow at 3:30 Central, so be sure to join us then. Thanks for coming on board, everybody. Stay happy, stay healthy. I will see you guys tomorrow. And Janik, I'll let you close the show for us.
Well, yeah, the last thing I want to say, just remember that Adler's suggestion email that Jim and I talked about earlier. If you want to make sure that your suggestion has the best chance of us seeing it and replying to it, send us the email. It's a whole lot easier for us to keep track of it on there than it is 300 comments on this video here to scroll through. So if you haven't already sent us something, please, feel free. We go on there, we chip away at it every day. We don't get back to every email every day, but we do try to get back to them all eventually. So yeah, go check it out on the website. And Jim, I guess we will call it a day.
We will call it a day. Thanks for showing up, Janik, and going through with all this cool stuff. And thanks for showing us all the cool stuff that you guys do behind the scenes. We do appreciate it. And until next time, everybody, high greens, everybody.
See y'all later.